In the 1930s, the newsstand served as the primary gateway to weird fiction. Magazines like Weird Tales defined the aesthetic of the era's macabre imagination. Yet, a wide gap existed between consuming these stories and creating them. No formal educational track existed to teach aspiring writers how to navigate the professional requirements of the genre. For young fans in Midwestern suburbs like Milwaukee, the distance from the industry was both geographic and psychological. The professional publishing centers were distant, urban hubs that felt entirely inaccessible to a teenager. H.P. Lovecraft bridged this gap. From Providence, he maintained an unprecedented volume of personal correspondence that connected him to readers across the country. These letters created a decentralized classroom. Lovecraft used his correspondence to tutor a network of young protégés in the technical craft of the weird tale. This operation relied on the massive volume of the 1930s postal system, which carried manuscripts and critiques back and forth across the continent. The artifacts of this mentorship are now preserved at Brown University's John Hay Library. Within the library's Case 3 exhibit, a physical timeline traces the specific evolution of Lovecraft's relationship with Robert Bloch. These objects demonstrate that the Lovecraft Circle functioned as a rigorous academic institution, professionalizing adolescent fans through a study process of material critique. Robert Bloch's early creative work consisted of waxy crayon sketches drawn on the cardboard school notebooks belonging to his sister. One surviving artifact is the cover of a Lincoln High School notebook, clearly marked as the property of Winifred Bloch. On the reverse side, Bloch drew a piece titled The Feast, a crude, high-contrast depiction of a macabre banquet in a dark, vaulted hall. While the drawing shows a clear enthusiasm for horror themes, it reveals a total lack of professional artistic or literary discipline. The unrefined texture of the crayon on printed cardboard captures Bloch's starting point in 1933. He was a talented but undisciplined amateur. The transition began when Bloch sent his first fan letter to Lovecraft, asking for a list of the older writer's published works. Lovecraft identified the teenager's potential and immediately encouraged him to abandon drawing in favor of narrative fiction. Bloch was now attempting to move from the margins of a school notebook to the structured pages of a professional magazine. This notebook cover represents the year zero of Bloch's career, the raw talent that Lovecraft was about to subject to rigorous editorial standards. Lovecraft applied his pedagogical method through dense 4-page autograph letters, such as this one from July 1933. The letter opens with 2 pages of intensive structural advice on a manuscript Bloch had sent him, titled The Madness of Lucian Gray. Lovecraft critiqued the story's buildup, noting exactly where the narrative failed to sustain tension as it moved towards its conclusion. He explained that the climactic final scene lacked impact because the preceding sections failed to deliver the necessary psychological weight. Lovecraft's critique then shifted to prose mechanics, specifically focusing on the problem of tautologies. He coached Bloch to eliminate redundant descriptions, like dark black shadows, which drained the power from his scene painting. These were not gentle or vague suggestions. They functioned as professional-grade line edits. Bloch internalized these lessons so thoroughly that he never published The Madness of Lucian Gray, choosing instead to apply these mechanics to entirely new work. This letter functioned as a textbook, replacing adolescent enthusiasm with the mechanics of professional storytelling. Lovecraft paired his editorial critiques with social integration, connecting Bloch to a broader network of promising correspondence. The 1933 letter concludes with a list of names, including Robert H. Barlow, to help Bloch build his own professional circle. This established a Mythos network, with manuscripts and letters circulating between geographic nodes in Milwaukee, Providence, and Florida. By January 1935, this process culminated in Bloch's first professional sale to Weird Tales, The Feast in the Abbey. The story represented a direct evolution of his early crayon drawing, now refined by 2 years of editorial feedback. The transition from the cardboard notebook to the pages of Weird Tales confirms the effectiveness of Lovecraft's pedagogical model. Bloch began his career as a Lovecraft imitator, but the discipline he acquired allowed him to eventually develop a unique authorial voice. he eventually shifted his focus from Lovecraftian outer gods to the inner demons found in human psychology. His most famous novel, Psycho, applied the structural rigor he learned from Lovecraft to a modern urban horror setting. Case 3 serves as a physical record of the anxiety of influence, showing how one era's mentorship produces the next generation's masters. For the students in Lovecraft's network, these spidery, handwritten pages provided a formal, rigorous education. Case 3 documents the moment when the old weird was refined and passed down, creating the foundation for modern psychological horror.